Australian soils were tired 100,000 years ago. They've been clapped out ever since. They've been formed and reformed. They've lost their nutrients. They've had their organic matter blown away or washed away. And with the impact of white settlement, they've just become worse and worse. But it has no structure at all. As soon as it is exposed to the water, it's going to disperse.
Emmett O'Loughlin, a CSIRO hydrologist, and his colleague, Rob Vertesi, are regularly asked to investigate soil and land degradation problems, both within Australia and around the world. Invariably, the first thing they look for is how water moves through the landscape.
The problems are basically water-driven. Water flowing over the soil or through the soil, blowing up the soil. That sort of process has to be stopped or interrupted.
When it comes to choosing new sites for Canberra's 21st century suburbs, land rehabilitation is a major consideration. Emmett O'Loughlin and his team are currently helping local planners tackle one of the worst examples of land degradation. In the year 2010, Halls Creek, to the north of Canberra, will be covered with thousands of houses. Yet an initial inspection showed that the current state of the land is unfit for human habitation.
It's a good example of wholesale clearing of woodland, eucalypt forest. It's a good example of the pressures caused by overgrazing. It's a good example of what happens when we have soil with a poor structure exposed to wind erosion and water erosion, and leading to the sort of degradation and gullying that we see there now.
Well, I've identified this as probably some of the worst erosion in the ACT.
A closer look at the gullies with a public works planner gave the researchers a clear picture of the full extent of the damage.
The gullying in Halls Creek goes to a depth of something like 4 metres. It's not only eating downwards, it's eating sidewards, so that, and not just along the one creek line, it's poking out all along the way.
Yeah, this gives you an idea how quickly this is happening. You've got live trees and they're falling over.
For Emmett, the first step towards rehabilitation is locating a good topographical map of the area. The Halls Creek map is fed into a computer along with information on rainfall, vegetation and soil properties. The computer software then calculates slope, aspect, solar radiation and upslope catchment areas. The computer model that handles all of this information is called TOPOG. The brainchild of Emmett, Rob and their colleagues, it's a comprehensive landscape analyser which has been streamlined so that it can be used by virtually anyone.
Well, that's probably one of the beauties of TOPOG. TOPOG, in its physics, is very simple. It's an analysis which is sufficient but not overly complicated, that allows us to get to the nitty-gritty of what really matters.
Landscape architects joined Emmett and the public works planners on a second visit to the site. Emmett recommended TOPOG as the means of repairing Halls Creek quickly, cheaply and without mistakes.
TOPOG gives us the capability of being able to manipulate patches of trees in the computer and manipulate the water use by those trees and compare them. Compare the impact that tree planting, say here, will have on an eroded area down here or an area which might be salinised down here. Well, to orient us all, the One Tree Hill is the highest point on this three-dimensional picture of the terrain.
TOPOG was accepted and incorporated into the operation by the Department of Public Works and the landscape architects.
These patches again correspond to the low radiation. Our solution for Halls Creek, which involved planting trees, in fact had to be modified by rock outcrops that must be avoided, by the limits of urban growth. So By a process of toing and froing between ourselves and the landscape planners, we could optimise the solution which took the hydrology and those other constraints into account.
Spot tree planting, as recommended by TOPOG, began in the autumn of 1991. With the rehabilitation of the Halls Creek area now well underway, Emmett and Rob could turn their attention to other projects that required TOPOG analysis. Currently, just around Canberra, TOPOG is being used to help maintain drinking water quality, to solve major soil salinity problems, and to treat effluent along the Cotter River. The list of projects and users of TOPOG is continually expanding, both within Australia and around the world.